Hello, my squishies. Hopefully I waited long enough for you to hear that. Welcome. So I record these live, so I'm just going to wait for some people to come into the chat and tell me they can hear me and everything is going fine. But, oh, sign into chat. Maybe I can't even see my own chat. Dun dun dun. Hold on 1 second. If anybody is here, please say hi. This bit will get edited out afterwards, do not worry. Oh, I have a viewer. Someone's in, so I'm live, so you can see me. Can you hear me though? That is the question. Hello, I have a smiley face and a bus symbol. I'm not sure what the bus symbol means. I'm gonna go with that you can hear me and everything is fine. Okay, so while we're waiting for other people to join, I'm gonna give you guys who have not felted before a quick introduction to needle felting, because I record these live so that I actually do them and then leave them up for you guys to join me afterwards when you buy the kits. So these kits are designed for assuming you've never felted before, and we will get a finished picture by the end of this hour, hopefully. So in your kit, you will have a foam mat. This is to protect your surfaces, to make felting easier. Oh my god, my brain is already gone. I must apologise in advance for all the nonsense that is, sounds fine, thank you, that is going to happen tonight. So yeah, you've got your foam mat. We've got our pre-felt. This is the material that we're going to felt onto. It should have the picture drawn on, and we're just essentially gonna felt by numbers. But yes, so you can use other materials than pre-felt. This is Shetland wool pre-felt, so it's like felt, but it's not quite as felted, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But you can felt onto regular craft felt, onto certain other like cottons and things as well. Just try them out and see if it felts. I like to cut up old jumpers, which is quite fun. So I wash them until, you know, they're a little bit smaller than they're meant to be, cut them up and then use them to felt onto as well. In your kit you will also have your needles. So these are the felting needles. Hopefully you can see them. They are very sharp and barbed at one end. Please do not stab yourself. I always like to count my needles in and out at the end of every felting session. And if you break one, and it does happen, that's why I've given you extra in the kit. If you break one, make sure you find all the ends and dispose of it safely. I put them into a wee hard plastic tub, and when that, like a sharps tin, and when that's full, I'm going to put that in the bin. To make life a little bit easier, I've also included a needle felt holder. So I don't use these because I swap between holding various needles at different times, but a lot of people swear by these, so I put them in the kit so that you can use them as well. There's a wee trick to this. So there's a peg in one end. You pull out the peg, put the needle in the groove with the hook of the needle on the skinnier end of the peg and pop it in. I'll do that one more time for you. So you pull out the wee peg, you'll see there's a wee groove there. Pop the needle in the groove with the hook over the skinnier end and put the skinny end back in there. And that just makes it nice and easy, gives you something more to grip onto. And then you've also got the frame in the kit. We'll get to that later, don't worry, I'll show you how when we need to. But the last and most important thing in the kit is we have got the fibre that's going to make the colour. So this is almost all Shetland wool. There's a little bit of Cheviot Slivers in here as well. It's all Shetland wool. It's prepared in a way called tops or roving. This is technically roving, but it can be used. Hey Robin! Oh, the chief troublemaker is here. I apologise for anything that is about to happen. So this is roving, but yet tops is used quite a lot for that, for the name. So it's come off the sheep, it's been washed, dyed and brushed, and then formed into this sort of length rope kind of thing. And the way we work with this is you want to have your hands nice and far apart, and then you can just gently pull, and you'll see you can separate small sections. And these little sections are the length of the fibre that was on the sheep. So these are what's called the length of it is the staple length of the fibre. So if we were to have our hands too close together when we were pulling, it's not going to come apart. You have to have your hands nice and far apart so you're not pulling against the same end. And if there's any twist in it as well, again, it's not going to come apart. So you want to make sure it's untwisted. If your hands nice and far apart, and you just gently pull. And you'll see tonight I'm going to talk about how little we use. So we're going to pull out tiny, tiny sections to use in this picture. But that is the roving. And don't worry about pulling out little bits. They will all get used. Nothing is wasted here. And there was one more important thing. Ah, yes. The other most important thing about this stream is I chat a lot of nonsense. I apologise in advance. It's just me. My parents have to... Hey Ruth, my parents have to put up with me, so you're going to have to too. But there is some secrets. I do this at my speed. If you want me to go a little bit slower, there's controls down there somewhere. So you can slow me down, you can speed me up, pause at any point, fast forward, rewind. And as I was just saying, if you're my parents, love you, you can also mute me. So you do not have to listen to my rambling and you can just watch along to what I'm doing. So I will be telling you what colours I'm using. I'm going to start at the top of the hour by going through the list. I'm getting better at this now. Going through the list of colours that we have here. So that as we're going, the colours, you can buy them on my website, or you can just see the colours and get your own ones. So we've got Cheviot Slivers, which is the white one. We've got Dream, which is this beautiful blue. We've got Shetland Grey, which is a natural grey. Shetland Brown, natural brown. And then we've got this selection, let's put these in order, of 3 greens. 4 green, I can count. 4 greens, starting with Evergreen, which is the brightest green. Hedgerow. Olive is like a nice, surprise, surprise, olivey green. And then this one here, colloquially we call it sludge. It's a beautiful green, we love it, but we call it sludge. It's not that on the website. I think it's Beret on the website. There will be written in the comments later on, or in the description, what this is actually called, but I will be calling it sludge. Blame Liz, my former employee. It's all her fault. But tonight, I've left you on tender hooks. Tonight, we are going to felt the Quiraing. Now, I don't know if you've noticed recently, but I'm a little bit behind on my designing. So this is my almost finished design of the Quiraing. This is what we're going to aim to do tonight. It's a beautiful Quiraing with the sun coming down, the little road that's up there. So hopefully, by the end of the next hour, we will have this done. But let's get started felting. Let's stab some things. So I tend to work from the back to the front. So I'm going to start with Dream, the lovely blue. And this is a lot of Dream. I just grabbed a whole section. You won't need this much. Although I do always give you extra in the kits. And I'm going to cover all this back section. You'll notice I'm not doing any stabbing just now. I'm just laying it down. And I'm also making sure I go outside the lines. This is not your regular colouring in. I want you guys to go outside the lines. Also, these are just ideas. I want to see what you can do as well. So go off piste. Do all the different things you want. You don't necessarily have to follow what I'm doing. There we go. So I've laid down the blue where it's supposed to be. And then I'm going to lay down some green. So I'm going to take the olive and put a little base of olive on this mountain here. So I'm going up that way. At the moment I'm just... Oh yeah, it's totally Lord of the Rings scenery. It's amazing, the Quiraing. It's like, I think it's almost, I don't know if it looks like tectonic plates that have just crashed into each other. I absolutely love driving up there. So this bit is all getting covered in the olive. Making sure I'm going outside the lines. What was I saying? Oh, I got distracted. I always get distracted. At the moment, I'm kind of laying it down flat and parallel. We will be scrunching it up and putting it in different ways later on. But just now I want a nice smooth base. Making sure I've filled in all the corners. Because when we put it in the frame, we want to have a little bit of wiggle room with placement. And then I'm going to take the beautiful sludge and pop that just behind the green there. You know how I said I like to go from back to front? I forgot. This is why I don't stab anything in yet. So I've blocked out the colours. I know this looks like a weird lumpy mountain, but that is okay. And now I'm going to take my needles. So at the moment I'm going to take 3. And I'm just going to very quickly, very loosely, we're not stabbing hard just now. We're not felting it properly. Words tonight. Words are a thing. In the comments below, it is Friday night at 6 o'clock. Everybody obviously is having dinner because dinner is 6 o'clock. Tell me what you're all eating. Just to distract you. Well, I'm taking 3 needles. I'm going to loosely just stab it in. I like to call these basting stabs. So I'm not totally fixing everything in place. That's for later. I'm just settling it all in so that we can work on top of it. Because the nice thing about this stage is it's not very strongly felted in. If I decided I wanted a different colour there, I could just pick that up and move it. Because it's only loosely stabbed in. Once we've gone over it a few times, then it will obviously start to stick more. But for just now, we're just loosely. Also check that your frame, so we're aiming to fill the outside. Yep, perfect. Ooh, fish and chips and bramble crumble. Nice. Oh, beef stew. Yes, can I please have some beef stew? I'm going to take some of the slivers and we're going to pop in some texture in the sky. So I've taken a little bit. Can you even see how little it is? Like tiny, tiny amounts. And just pooling slightly. So the slivers are slightly less processed than the roving or tops. They're more natural. You've got the little neeps in it, which are the little sort of these, I don't know, can you see the little white, like dark, the more white fluffy bit? Oh my god, can you tell it's been a week? And that makes wonderful texture for clouds. I'm making sure my clouds go all the way down. Because let's be honest, sky is always a little bit cloudy. Possibly has just rained or is about to just rain. But that's okay, and we love sky for it. There we go, we've got a nice tiny bit of texture in the clouds. Or in the sky. And now we're going to start making the shape of the Quiraing. So there's a nice, let's see if we can, let's pop this up here for a little bit of reference. So I know it looks like a blob just now, but we're going to just do a little bit of shaping and we're going to build up layers. So I'm going to take the brown, and now we are only taking a small amount of this and we are entirely covering it up. But we need it to be there for reasons. So I'm going to take this, and so the hill kind of goes up like that. The wee wiggle at the top, and then it comes down there. So I'm taking that like that. I'm going to take this right the way down to there. I know it looks really silly. It's like, what on earth is this? We're at the messy stage. I love this stage. This is a sort of slightly panic-inducing stage where you're like, it looks like a mess. It's never going to look proper. but don't panic. And then we've got a second smaller one just down here as well. So I'm going to just pop that in now as well. And then I'm going to take the darkest of the greens, the lovely Evergreen, and I'm going to lay that directly on top of the brown that we just put there and covering it up. But if the brown just gives it a nice bit of depth, and some of it will pop through. You'll see it coming through. Again, we're covering up. Oh, that's all this talk of food, and that was my stomach rumbling right then. I don't know what I'm having for dinner tonight. I was hoping for maybe fish and chips, who knows. I'm going to just very gently do a couple of stabs to block this in, just so it doesn't start flying away. Okay, and then I'm going to take the green down. Oh, there's a long comment. Hold on, I'll get that in a second. There's the green down from the Evergreen, which is Hedgerow. And again, I'm going to put it on top, but this time we're going to start scrumpling it. We want a little bit of texture in this. So I don't want this to be laid down perfectly. I want the texture, I want it to look like there's movement in the rocks. And we're going a little bit, so we're going to work covering that up and a little bit further down. Okay. So, again, don't worry, this is the weird, messy stage. Let's pull that up. Just did you see? This is the joy of felting. I could just yoink that up a little bit because it wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. You are in control. Oh, I'm going off screen. Yeah, are they actually alpaca that you're bringing back? I have questions. Now we're going to work on this top bit a little here, because there's a second, I don't know if you can see, there's a second wee bit there. I'm going to take the beautiful sludge and I'm bringing the sludge up to the top and following the curve down a little bit, and then I'm going to make a second. I'm going to push that down, push that up a little bit so that we've got another little prominence. Is that the right word? Oh, the Fairy Glen is beautiful. I've attempted to do it a few times, but never really it's never looked quite right because it's absolutely stunning. The Fairy Glen is on the other side of the Quiraing. So the Quiraing, I don't know if I've mentioned this yet. The Quiraing is on Skye. It's the north prominence of the island. Now I'm taking a tiny bit of brown, and you can drive through this. There is a road that goes right through this because it's not actually that high. I'm just taking that to there, but I'm making sure to cover it up. And there used to be right in the middle of the Quiraing. I don't think it's there anymore, but there was. So you're in the middle of this amazing island, middle of nowhere. What do you expect to see? In fact, yeah, what kind of burger van would you expect to see on the Isle of Skye in the middle of nowhere? Answers in the comments, please, and I will tell you once we've had a couple of answers. There we go, we've got our second little bit. So now, hopefully you guys are can do words, because I can't do words apparently. So the sun is coming down from this angle. So all these bits here will have light bits, and all of that side of the hill there is going to have the dark bits. And then sun's also hitting this hill in the distance. So that's the kind of effect we're looking to create. Right. Oh, Ruth, pop in. Yes, I'm open. The shop is open. In fact, I should probably say this. The shop is on the High Street in Fort William. Open 11 until 5. Tuesday to Saturday. Pop in. Look for the Knitted Bicycle on the street. I'm above the Grog and Gruel pub. Come in, squish all the wool. I've got a lovely selection of British wool. Felting kits I designed, obviously. I designed myself because we're doing it right now. Oh, I forgot to put the sludge on the top of this hill. So again, where the top of the hill would get some sunlight, I'm popping in that little bit of sludge there. Yeah, pop in. Come and see me. And normally the shop dog Peanut is in the shop as well. She is currently away for walkies with my friends, so because she needs my constant attention. Oh, bring the golden doodles in. Peanut will think she's a big dog and try and play with them. Okay. Now, very important point that I've totally forgotten to make. Yes, thank you, Robin. I really appreciate it if you like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, like this video. I've also got a Facebook group where you can post your finished pictures, and Instagram, all of the usual things. I do really appreciate it, and I have so much fun doing these. Every so often, we need to pull this off the mat, or it will get quite badly stuck to the mat. When you do this, it can smooch out of shape. That's totally fine, perfectly normal. I just kind of smooch it back into shape, get it where I want it to go, smooth it down a little bit, and you're good to go. The more you felt it, the harder it'll be and the less it'll smoosh out of place. And that's also when you know how well felted you want it to be. Well felted. I need to actually look up the language of how to say well felted. Yeah. Distraction. I love it. Okay, one last big feature we've got to put in before we start just playing with the details is our little road. So we're going to take the grey, and you'll see the road kind of goes up this hill and then disappears off into there. It is such a fun road to drive. It's all single track. It is windy, and I learned to drive on these roads, and it's just the most fun to drive on. So I'm taking that to there and then away into the distance. So yes, so you drive up this road and then drive through the Quiraing, and right at the top, right in the centre, there is a burger van that used to sell all kinds of meat. Alligator, ostrich, the last things you would expect to find on a burger van on the Isle of Skye. But it was there and it was wonderful. I think it's gone now, but I haven't been up in a few years, so I couldn't confirm. And around the road, I'm going to take a little bit of the hedgerow, because generally around the edges of the road you'll have a little bit more vegetation, because the water's running off the road, causing slightly more plants to grow. So it's always slightly darker just around the road. I'm just taking the hedgerow and kind of lining the edge of the road, giving it a bit of placement in the landscape, shall we say. There is lots of sheep wandering around on the road as well. You go around a corner and there's just sheep having a wee nap. Yeah, there was all kinds of interesting meats on that van. There we go. So that road feels like it is somewhat in the landscape. I kind of want to pull that around there just a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to start. Now we've got everything in place. We're happy with how the design kind of sits. If I pop it in the frame, how it sits. So now we're going to start playing with all little details, which are going to be what make it pop. Now remember, this is why we've got extra. So we can shift about the placement. If you don't want to have the road in, just want to have the hills, you can do that too. I'm going to spend 2 minutes just stabbing all over before I start putting in lots of little details. Now, to answer a question I get asked a lot, and it's kind of important, is how do I know when I'm finished? So the answer is it depends, which is not an answer a lot of people like, but but it's the answer I'm giving, so tough. Let's pull that down and give it a bit of a steeper. There we go. That's better. Yeah, so depending on how you're framing this, what it's going to be in its final form dictates a little bit how you know when it's finished. So if this is going to be put behind glass, because you don't have to put it in the frame. I've provided the frame because it's a nice way to show it, nice and easy, and it finishes it off nicely. But you can also fill this whole picture and put it behind glass. There should be enough fibre there, no problem. If it's going to be behind glass, you don't have to have it really strongly felted in. You can leave it a little bit fluffy if you want it to be. But if it's going to be in the frame, say, and lots of people, like in my shop, are going to touch it, you want to make sure it is reasonably well felted in. So I would, once we've finished tonight, recommend after the end of this hour, even if it's not completely finished, we stop. And we come back in a couple of days with fresh eyes and spend about another half hour just felting all over it and then call it done. That should be enough. So half an hour of this, just stabby to lock it all in. Because your eyes are already getting, we've been working this for half an hour, your eyes are already getting tired and you're probably not seeing what an amazing job you're doing. So so many people have told me this, that at the end of the evening they're like, it looks terrible, this is horrible, how on earth is this needle felting ever going to look right? And then they come back the next morning and look at it and go, actually that's really good. And I do the same. So at the moment I think this is terrible, oh my god, what am I doing? And I'll come back tomorrow and I'll be like, oh no, this is amazing, I'm really happy with this. And just spend another half an hour just putting in a couple of final touches, and then it's just ready to go in the frame, and which I might actually do just now. So I'll show you how to put it in the frame now so that we're ready. So at the top you've got, let's get you in focus, you've got a little peg with a bolt, so you just unscrew the peg until it is almost but not quite disconnected. So you've got it just a little bit in there, not going anywhere. If you do accidentally unscrew it too far, just pop the bolt back on and you're fine. You've got a centre and an outside. The outside's got the bolt on it. So on a hard surface, so not on your foam mat, pop the center down and then pop your picture on top and feel where the picture is on the round backing, and take it, line it up so it's nice and straight. Hold it over and say, do I want it there or do I want it a little bit further up? I want a little bit more sky. That's better. And just pop the frame over. Sort it so it's sitting nice and parallel. And then if you're finishing this, you would screw it up nice and tight and chop off all the extra, but we're not doing that just now. We're just checking for placement. So I'm going to have a look at this and what do I want to change about it? Is there anything that needs fixing? So here, there's a little bit of the sky. It's not quite gone down to the grass, so I need to add a little bit of green in, or a bit opposite of green, a little bit of blue in there. This bit here is looking a bit boring. I know it's in that it's what it looks like. It's a big flat beautiful plane, but I think I want to put a bit more interest in it. Or do I want to push it over to the side slightly and have it, actually I think I like that better. So now I need to, so that blue, ignore what I just said. I need to put a bit more green in there and then pull that road up a little bit, and then I'll be a lot happier with it. Yeah, no, I like that placement better. Perfect, right. We have a couple of missions to do now. But each one is going to be unique, and I trust you. You can do it. So, I'm going to put a bit more of the beautiful sludge in there. And even at this stage, I suspect I can just gently pull that up a little bit. Pop that underneath. And fill that in. I am going to put a little bit of texture with the tiniest amount of green, the olive green, just so it's not all one colour. I also want this to be a little bit more pointy, a little bit more pointy, because it is quite pointy. That's better. It's more pointy, and then that can get pulled. You can be quite rough with it. Don't be worried about it. And then we're moving the road up a little bit. So again, because it's not completely finished, I can just pull up that little bit of road, felt that back down, and because I've got, this is all a bit mixed up. This will get used in a different project, don't worry. I am going to take a fresh bit of road. And where did we say? So if we want the road to go there. And disappearing into that little rock rock formation there. There we go. And I'm going to do the same again with the hedgerow around the outside. Oh my god, the rock formations on the Quiraing are just beautiful. Olive sky. Sky's a really interesting place for geology. Skye and like most of the west coast of Scotland. Because there's definitely parts up there where there's old rock on top of new rock. Because of the way the tectonic plates moved, it pushed old rock up over the new rock, and that's how they discovered, apparently, about tectonic plates, which is awesome. There we go. We got our little road in there. Let's just double check. That's better. Yeah. Then it looks more like it's going across the top of that. A little flat bit there. Perfect. Oh, See, I told you, you think it's looking horrendously messy, but don't panic. Oh, that's another, what's the word? Suggestion? Comment? So I always like to send a photograph of what I'm working on, normally to my parents, if I'm, prepared in time. Because when you look at something in a photograph as opposed to with your own eyes, it changes your perspective a little bit, and it can sort of bring you out of your own head, and you can see what might need changed, or hold it up into a mirror or anything just to give you a fresh perspective, some fresh eyes. Wait, Ruth, did you say you were going up to... Oh, you're going to Uist as well. So the Quiraing on Skye runs between Staffin on the east and Uig on the left. Uig is where you'd get your ferry if you were going up to Uist. And if you've got time, I would totally recommend taking a little bit of extra time going up to Staffin and then popping across the Quiraing to Uig. Oh, nice. There's not many people come from Skye. It's quite the remote. She's probably got a lot of relatives on Skye still. It's one of those places. Right, I wanted to put in a little bit of texture here to give it... Oh, do I? Because it's quite a clean hill, if that makes sense. How is my framing looking? Framing's looking good. I'm not sure. I'm not happy with this blob here. This blob is causing me concern. So we're just going to pull that out and try and tidy up this edge here. So again, just layering up, adding, I'm very much add more, just add it on top. Better. It's these tiny little changes, and if they don't work, like if it's not doing what you want, if your brain tells it to do something and it's not doing it, take it off and do it again. That's the joy of needle felting. Right, I'm going to add a more linear That's what was wrong. It was more of a lump than a light. There we go. Everyone's just like, what are you doing? Add a bit more. This bit needs... bit more of the hedgerow there. There we go. So if I make oh nice, that sounds like a perfect wee holiday, Ruth. So I'm going to, what are we at? We've still got 20 minutes. We've got plenty of time. We're flying through this one. I'm going to pop it in the frame and see if there's anything I want to change about it. And then going to give it a good stabbing all over for a while, maybe 10 minutes, and then we'll be finished. Look at that. So I can feel it starting to firm up now. Still not as firm as I would like it to be for the purposes of what I'm using it for. But if you were going to put it in a frame, you could call that felted. So let's, sorry, behind the glass frame. Let's pop that where I want it. Let's let you see what I'm doing. Pop that where I want it to be. Is that the placement? I want it to be a little bit more right. Put it there. And then let's hide all the extra and have a look. So is there anything I want to change about it? I'm still not happy with this light bit here. I'm also looking on my monitor to see if, to give myself fresh eyes and see. I think I might want to outline the road slightly. But yeah, we've got the nice jutting hills coming out nicely. Yeah, I'm relatively happy with that. So let's have a look at this little annoyance here. I think it's because it's going that way rather than that way. So I'm just going to pop that there and head it down onto the road. Oh, that's it. Okay, I'm happy now. There we go. That's what was missing. And I can also see a little bit too much of the actual brown here, so I'm going to cover that up with some green. Although you can let a little bit of brown be seen, because there will be natural rocks where there's no grass and things as well, so don't worry too much about that. And again, I think I want to pop. I know it doesn't really matter because this might not be seen at all, but I'm going to cover that up there and that there. Adding a little bit more dark, that lovely dark green that just makes it pop. Okay, any comments, questions, concerns? Do I put in a small amount of, yes I do. So I'm using the hedgerow, so one above, just a little bit darker than the olive, just to put in a little bit of dark textury spots on that big flat area there, and I'm going to do the same there. But I'm scrumpling it up. And I'm going to very, very, very finely outline the road, because I feel like the road's getting lost a little bit. You are also welcome to leave the road out. I should probably mention that right now. The road does not have to be there. This is your picture. You are in control. If you don't want humans coming into it, you can entirely leave the road out. Why am I doing this with 3? Do not have to have humans in your picture. I feel like this is missing a bit of green. Okay. Ooh, do need to work more on the outline down the right hand side of the Quiraing. So this side or this side? Right or left? Ooh, I'm excited to see your mushroom robin. Oh yeah, we haven't mentioned so far. We should do the official Robin shout out. Robin also has a felting channel. It is Feltaholics on YouTube. She's recently done an amazing little cute 3D Highland cow. She beat me to it. And soon there will be mushrooms. I've seen it. Did you do shorts of them? I feel like I've seen them. That's popping more. So I'm taking a little bit of the slivers, popping them on the hill. I'm wanting to try and push further away. But I'm doing the same as what I did with the brown. I'm putting the white down and then adding on top of them. So I'm putting the white slivers down and then adding a bit of the sludge on top. Just to give it a little bit of distance and to sharpen up that edge there. That's better. Yeah, I saw the short. They look adorable. I'm very excited to see the full picture. The full video. Okay. I'm going to stabby all over for a couple of minutes. Pop it in the frame, and then I think we're done. Oh, this bit here. Yeah, so make it stronger than you think it needs to be. Have a look at how it is, and then add colours on top to lighten it up a little bit if you feel it needs to be lightened up, if that makes sense. So this is quite a harsh line to create that shadow fall. You can never have too many felting needles, Robin. Yeah, this is like quite pronounced. Because I feel like this is a little bit of a sort of the sun's about to start setting kind of time, when the light is making really hard shadows. So for Sky this could be 10 o'clock at night, because, you know, at the moment it doesn't get dark up there. And I believe, what was it, yesterday was the longest day? So I can imagine the sun didn't even set on Sky last night. Ruth, was that what you were asking? Have I answered your question, or have I just confused you? Both are fine. Confusion. Yes. Is that okay? Good. It's like maybe I've just confused her more. I think I'm at a place where I'm pretty happy with this. Looking at the monitor, it looks... there's a little bit of... just a touch. Just there to fill that in. Again, this is a fun bit, just fiddling around. That's better. Okay, again, this is not finished. Everything's in place. I'm not going to fiddle too much with it, but I am going to spend a good half an hour, well, 20 minutes, half an hour, just stabbing all over, adding in little touches in a day or two. So not tonight. Tonight you've done amazingly. You don't need to do any more. Put it aside, come back in a couple of days. Stabby, stabby, stabby all over, and then frame it up. But what I'm going to do is show you how to frame it up just now, so that we are all set to go. So, get your frame, take the middle out. I'm trying to do this without making too much horrible noises. Give it a nice little smooshing. Pop it where you want it to go. So I want it to be about there. Let's see if you can see me. So I'm feeling where the hoop is underneath. So this is, you're going to hang it from here. So I'm going to line that up there. No, a little bit further along. There. Pop it down. Check you're happy with where the hook is. So I'm not. It needs to be a little bit more to the left. So I'm going to pop it off. Boop. Move it to the left a little bit. There we go. Settle it nicely in the frame. And then when you are finished, I'm pretty happy with that actually. I really like the way that looks. All you're going to do is tighten up this little bolt until it's as tight as you can go. So you want it to be really nice and tight. So it can actually go quite tight, don't worry about that. And then once it's nice and tight and you've had another final look, you're happy with it, it hangs nicely, all you're going to do to finish it off is to chop all this extra fluff off at the back. So just take a pair of scissors and chop, 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 and it should look something. Here's one I prepared earlier. This is a different picture though. It should look on the back something like this. So you've got all the extra chopped off. You can see your beautiful back felted through it as well. In fact, you can see the difference here as to, so this definitely needs more felting, whereas this, you can almost see the picture on the back. This is very nicely felted in. Yeah, so you're just chopping off. Let's do a wee close up. All your extra. But there we have it. The Quiraing. Thank you for joining me, guys. That was wonderful fun Friday. But I'm going to go and probably get a chippy. Have a nice evening. Thank you, my squishies. And I will see you in 2 Fridays' time for another felt along. I have no idea again what I'm going to do, but we will figure it out before time. Thank you.